many other related fields. We are fortunate that the Bombay Stock Exchange Institute has come forward to help our efforts. First time in the history of education of Goa. We welcome the Chairman, CEO and MD of Bombay Stock Exchange, Shri Ashish Kumarji, on behalf of all the student community of Goa and all the academia. I welcome you, sir, for this opportunity. I am confident that the dream of Swayampurna India, Swayampurna Bharat and Atmanirbhar Goa will be achieving that goal very soon. Let me also formally welcome PARC, a collaborating institute from Mumbai, for their active role to facilitate this partnership between these three organizations, Vidya Prabodhini College, Bombay Stock Exchange Institute, as well as the PARC. In fact, I would like to mention on record the name of Shri Dilip Karambelkar, who has come forward to lead to this program. Dear friends, although Vidya Prabodhini as an institution was founded in 1986, with the pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher secondary and all other many institutions, the college section started only 10 years ago. And I am very proud to tell you that this year is the decennial celebrations of the college. We have completed 10 years of our inception. And therefore it gives me great pleasure and pride to start up these courses along with Bombay Stock Exchange Institute and PARC as a part of the decennial celebrations of our college. In fact, with the help of all my management members which are very active in the field of education, and with the blessings of our Parent Teachers Association as well as the Alumni Association, whose members are there in the audience, and of course with the active participation of the students throughout the state of Goa, I am confident that these courses will turn out to be important courses in the field of commerce education in the state of Goa. I would like to give a message to the Honorable CM of Goa through our Sports Minister, IT Minister, Shri Rohan Bab. Sir, you have been always keen and very helpful to the academic field of the state. I am proud to announce that the maximum number of employment, especially all the pending posts which were there for the last 10 years, in the university as well as in the affiliated colleges, in the academics as well as in the extracurricular field, were all filled during the tenure of Mr. Pramod Sawant, Dr. Pramod Sawant, our CM in his last tenure. Maximum number of chairs in the name of renowned Goans were started in the Goa University during the last term of Dr. Pramod Sawant, our Honorable CM. And with this continued vision about the Goa, especially Swayampurna Goa, I remember we had conducted a survey in Goa, ERP, it was popularly known as. And this Economic Revival Plan survey, which we conducted throughout the state, which was conducted by you and me only, the students and teachers of Goa University. From that, our CM has taken a vision to make Goa Atmanirbhar. So I request all of you to extend all possible help to provide infrastructure as well as to provide the subsidy to these courses so that the commonmost student of the state can afford these courses in the field of banking, financial sectors and investment and insurance. I request the students and teachers from all over Goa who have gathered here to make these programs successful, also to make this session of lecture by Shri Ashish Ji very interactive and mutually beneficial. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. To do the honor of introducing our today's chief guest, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, I request Assistant Professor in Commerce, Shri Arun Marathe, to come on the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Today I am here to present before you an eminent personality in the field of commerce in India as well as abroad. He holds a BTech degree in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Bombay and PGDM from IIM Kolkata. He is one of the founders of India's National Stock Exchange, that is NSE, where he has worked from 1992 to 2000. He is best known as a father of modern financial derivatives in India. He was instrumental in setting up India's first fully automated screen-based trading system and first commercial satellite communication network. He also created several path-breaking frameworks, including Nifty Index, NSE certification in financial markets, etc. From 2000 to 2009, he worked as a President and Chief Information Officer of Reliance Group and was also a CEO of cricket team Mumbai Indians in its formative years. He also handled additional responsibilities as a head corporate communications for Reliance Group from 2005 to 6. He was also instrumental in setting up India's first international exchange, that is India International Exchange, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Ji Modi. He holds an expertise in the field of information technology, finance, market, microstructure of markets, cricket, telecommunication, etc. He holds some key position in some renowned institutions, visiting professor at Ryerson University, Toronto, Canada, chairperson on board of governance of the National Institute of Technology, Manipur, member of board of governor at IIM Raipur, independent director of ICSI, chairman of South Asia Federation of Exchanges, member of the advisory committee of Ministry of MSME, advisor to the technical evaluation committee set up by the Department of Post for Postal Bank, part of several other committees of World Federation of Exchange, Government of India, Reserve Bank of India, Security and Exchange Board of India, etc. Member of Advisory Committee of proposed Mumbai University School of Economics and Public Policy. He has also won several international and national awards, Distinguished Fellow, Institute of Directors 2017, New Delhi, CEO of the Year in 2015, Hong Kong, Indian Business Leader of the Year, Switzerland 2015, R.H. Patil Award for Excellence in Financial Services, June 2015, Distinguished Alumnus Award, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay in 2014, Zee Business Award, Special Contribution in Commodities and Capital Market in 2013, and many more. He joined Bombay Stock Exchange as a Deputy CEO in 2009 and was appointed as CEO in 2012. He is credited with reviving BSE, including making it the fastest exchange in the world with less than 6 microseconds response time, introduction of mobile trading for the first time in India, state-of-the-art online real-time surveillance system, introduction of several market-leading products like SME, currencies, mutual funds, etc. He has successfully completed the IPO of BSE, which was pending for over 10 years. My dear friends, presenting before you none other than Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, MD and CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange, the first exchange of Asia. I request all of you to kindly a big round of applause and welcome our distinguished guest and keynote speaker of today's function. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, sir. So we are really honored to have you here for our function. I request Honorable Minister Shri Rohan Kaute to felicitate our chief guest Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan by presenting him with a memento. I request Chairman of Prabodhan Education Society, Sri Sanjay Valawalkar, to present shawl and Shreeford to our chief guest. Thank you, sir. Now I request today's guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Information Technology and Printing and Stationery, Shri Rohan Kaute, to address the gathering.
very good evening to all of you. The chief guest for today's function, the MD and CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan ji, Founder Director Park Mumbai, Shri Kiran Shelar ji, the Chairman of Vidya Prabodhini, Shri Sanjay Valawalkar ji, Principal Dr. Bhushan Bhave ji, Professor and HOD of Department of Commerce, Dr. Ujwala Hanjulkar ji, the faculty and staff of Vidya Prabodhini College, other dignitaries of the days, students, electronic media, press, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here for this lovely function. It's definitely a privilege to have a man like Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, the MD and CEO of the oldest stock exchange of Asia, the Bombay Stock Exchange, being here and delivering a lecture. When we start looking at education, when we start looking at opportunities, every person who wants to graduate wants to do something in life. Entrepreneurship or employment is a question mark in everybody's mind. I strongly believe that there are leadership qualities in every individual. It's how you are able to skill it and get it to the next level. Many of us, before we pass out, we start getting in touch politically or politically to ensure that our children have good and strong government jobs. I think the journey needs to change. The thought process needs to change. There are a lot of opportunities, and for a place like Goa, where we just have a population of 15 lakh people, total numbers of, if I am getting the figures right from Dr. Bhaviji, of 2,500 commerce graduates graduating, I think Goa is highly got the potential to prove the unemployment to employment ratio at 100%. Challenges will be there everywhere. We need very strong policies. Every government, when it comes in, whatever governance it tries to do, expectations of the people will always be one step ahead. And that's exactly the challenges. Because with social media and rest of the things coming in, every government has become, a governance has become more accessible, more transparent, more accountable. As an IT and tourism minister, with my experience of the last tenure in IT, the first thing we took up was getting the policies right. I remember those days, and I miss him also. Monarwai, when I was just listening to Kiranji, he was talking about the policies. I was just getting those nostalgic moments of how we got the IT policies right. He must have spent a number of hours with us, getting at micro level detailing and telling us what needs to be coming in, what does not need to be coming in. And today I can boast about saying that the IT policy and the startup policy in the state is the best in the country. If you compare with every progressive state which has been doing good in the IT sector, if I am talking about our policy, Goa stands at number 1. Now second is implementation of that policy. We have tried to implement it. There were some shortfalls. I think we have come to IT 2.0. And at this point, as we start talking about IT as a sector and policies in the making, what I'm trying to get the things out is basically today technology drives everything. Whether it's government, governance or any of the things you want to get into. And if technology is going to be into everything, then we have to be adaptable to the changes that have been coming in. Industry 4.0, it is quite enlightening, which I would like to share on this forum. When we keep talking about unemployment, there are questions being asked about how IT can make a scenario in Goa, how we can take things ahead. There are a lot of people who will say that IT needs to come in. We also want IT to come in. And do you know what has been the biggest challenge today? To get the right skills or the right skill set that the industry would need. The people who are skilled are having offers as 2x, 3x or 4x in their salary components, and they are already being hired. The brain drain in the IT sector is reducing as far as Goa is concerned. The policies are making an impact right from the campus interviews where the incentivization of those industries is catering to these requirements. What I'm trying to tell you is that we have tried to create an ecosystem and move it ahead. Bombay Stock Exchange, being the oldest exchange, has a big presence in the whole country's economic sector. Every IPO is being floated. We talk about the share market, we talk about the financial services, we talk about the companies doing right or wrong. And that's exactly the boss sitting here controls. He decides how the graph of the financial things of the country will go. And for that ecosystem, everybody needs to be understanding what exactly is next. I'm not a very big expert in financial services or mutual investments or financial services or insurance. But over the time we realize that adaptability to different ideas need to come in. Now this needs to come in at the education level. If we are able to get our things right and thought right and exposures coming in, I think this is exactly where the government, the academy and the industry needs to start putting their foot together and start thinking broader for the next generation. I'm not only talking about employment. I would like to pitch and say, why not be an entrepreneur? A startup today starts his skill sets as an entrepreneur in a very small way, maybe with a team size of 1 or 2. But an industry which is doing good, it might be Reliance or it might be bigger industries or mid-sized industries. It is very important for the children here to know that the industries today in their expansion plans are not employing more people to think. They are employing startups to think for them and solve the problems which they face or start thinking innovatively to the next level they would like to achieve as results. For the own department today as a startup, I have given somebody a job and I have told him, tell me about the revenue leakages that are happening in the tourism sector. I have told him to identify the gaps where we are able to increase the contribution towards the economy, towards the GDP from tourism. If we are at 16.4%, we want to make it 30%, where are the leakages and what we need to do? It has been given to a startup who has been told to do an exercise and come back to us. Now this makes things much more easier and we start thinking out of the box. Out of the box thinking is something what is required today. And to get these things right, I think Vidya Prabodhini College of Commerce, Education, Computer and Management has taken a very bold step by tying up with Policy Advocacy Research Center and Bombay Stock Exchange to introduce this particular thought process. Being a commerce graduate and then trying to find out what is the opportunity next. But getting a graduation from commerce and thinking going to the next level of either becoming a company secretary or a chartered accountant or getting your skills right in BFSI sector will only make the youth who is looking for opportunities to move in the right track. I take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Sanjay Valalkar and his team, his whole board, Avdut Bhai and everybody who have been part and instrumental maybe to get these things right. A good initiative and a long way to go. Congratulations, Sanjay. Similarly, I would like to congratulate our Kiran Shelarji also. I was just talking about policies. Everything needs to have a policy. But a policy which has to be inclusive and start thinking for that place. A policy which does good in Delhi need not do similar in Goa. A policy which does good in Goa need not be doing great in Maharashtra. Every place has its own dynamics and I think the policies need to be driven keeping in mind the ecosystem that prevails in that particular state. Ashish Kumar Chauhanji's lecture definitely is going to be interesting. We never had these opportunities. During our education and our curriculums, we never knew that we could do something more than studying those 6 or 8 subjects and we have to pass out, get a certificate and tell our parents that we have passed. Distinction zale pede medal. First class zale shabaski medal. Mage nani ulopache nashile mai garab hai. I don't know if it is the same or it's changed now. But today is a time to pet and take the youth ahead opportunities are there. It is for you all to explore. I can keep talking on these subjects because these are something which is very close to all of us. As a government, all of us would want to see your dreams come through. And if dreams need to come through, then the sectors need to be opened up with the right policies. I congratulate the whole team here. The privilege of having Ashish Kumar Chauhan ji here, I think is something you shouldn't let loose and take maximum advantage of understanding what and how it goes about. There will be a lot of opportunities, and all these opportunities will make the true dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat, what our Honorable Prime Minister has been having a vision about, and the dream of making Swayampurna Goa. Swayampurna Goa cannot be done unless every stakeholder participates in his own way. I understand the exams are coming very close, so I wish everyone all the very best. I'm sure all of you all are going to shine. It's not the pressure, but it's the way to put things ahead. As you take your journey ahead, I wish you all the best, and today's lecture, what will happen today, is going to be enlightenment for all of you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. We look forward for your continuous support. In presence of our esteemed guest, we will be having an exchange of Memorandum of Understanding signed between Vidya Prabodhini College and Park with Bombay Stock Exchange Institute. I request Park member Shri Kastub Karoke to escort Shri Ambarish Datta, MD and CEO of Bombay Stock Exchange Institute Limited to the stage. I request the chairman of Prabodhan Education Society, Sri Sanjay Valawalkar ji, to welcome him with a bouquet of flowers. I request the Nodal Officer of Vidya Prabodhini College, Dr. Bhushan Bhabe, Nodal Officer of Park, Shri Kiran Shelar, to exchange the MOU with Shri Ambarish Datta, Nodal Officer representing Bombay Stock Exchange Institute. Thank you. You all can take your places. Please take your places. The time has come for which we all were eagerly waiting for. I request our today's chief guest, Sri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, to address the gathering and guide us on how we can achieve the aim of Swayampurna Goa in BFSI sector.
Honorable Minister of Tourism, Information Technology and Printing and Stationery, Sri Rohanji Khante, Sri Kiran Shelar, Sri Sanjay Valawalkar, Sri Dr. Bhushan Bhave, Dr. Ujjwala Hanjunkar, my colleague Sri Ambarish Datta, all the teachers, principals, friends sitting here, it's a pleasure and honor to be in front of you today. I used to come here to Goa to teach at Goa University around 20 years back about derivatives. My friend Shama Fernandez used to teach there and she used to call me. She later on acquired doctorate and now she is running a BFSI company in Chennai. So effectively, from Goa also you can become a CEO of a large BFSI sector company. And I am associated with Goa for almost 25-30 years now. That reminds me of my friend and senior from IIT Bombay, Shri Manoharji Parikar. He was around 12 years elder to me, but we had developed a good rapport. He used to also come to BSc to meet me once in a while, and I used to come to Goa to meet him, and also when he was in Delhi. So it is great that his brother is also sitting here in the audience, and we really respect him and his memory. He was a visionary, and he was a path provider to all of us who came after him. The other great personality who originally belonged to Goa, so Shri Lata Mangeshkarji, I think today Ashwini Abhyankar actually reminded us of the talent that is here in Goa, and I think we need to respect the memory of that great soul of India. For me, somewhere on the line, the finance is something I have lived, and technology also something I have lived. I have realized all my life that the changes happen only through technology. The society continues on its path and a new technology comes, and then society falls around it. Society starts surrounding it. The societies which adapt to the technologies faster, better, those are the societies which prosper. The societies which do not adapt to the technology, it's not necessary for the society to actually invent those technologies. Many times we think whatever we have invented is the best, and anything coming from outside we should not adapt. But the history of mankind over last several lakh years, tens of lakhs of years, tells you that it's more important to adapt, less important to invent. Of course, if you can invent, it's better. But even if after inventing, if we don't adapt to that, we remain behind. And people who learn from us our own technology, and then they can come back and defeat us. So that is the story of India of last 1,000 years. Why I'm telling you the story is that technology is the underlying theme of mankind. Technology is the only change that happens. And India used to be a pioneer of technology 5,000 years back, 6,000 years back, 2,000 years back. If you look at it, technology is not something which you physically do, right? Or technology is not IT, information technology. It is the technology means something which you do differently, what you were doing before, something which was not done even before you do now. That is technology. And technology can be what we consider as technology now, that is physical or logical, but it could be also conceptual, like a decimal system. Decimal system, which is basically the numeric system which India invented probably 2,000-3,000 years back. We think that Aryabhatta invented it. He didn't invent. He wrote about it. He wrote about it 2,000 years back, but that doesn't mean that Indians did not use it before. Probably they used it even 3,000 years before. It's just that today we have proofs that Mr. Aryabhatta wrote about decimal system 2,000 years back, and that's why decimal system in a way is the oldest in India, and that's how other people learned from India and so on and so forth. India also invented metallurgy. If you look at Indian history, 2,000 years back, 3,000 years back, we used to do things with iron. Iron has had a great role in civilizations in terms of building things, but also killing other people. And so India was also inventor of metallurgy. And India was also inventor of plastic surgery, medicine, and so many other things. It's very, very important to be proud of it. But what happened around 1,000 years back probably, or 2,000 years back, or somewhere in that range, that we thought we had evolved so much that we didn't have to do anything with the new technologies. A lot of people kept on inventing in India. Calculus was also invented in India, probably this part of India, around 1,000 years back, but nobody bothered about it. we did not try applying those technologies, the newer technologies. But 1,000 years back, some other group came. They started defeating us. They started taking our wealth, the gold and silver and all, but they started taking a lot of our people as slaves. But more importantly, they took our technology of decimal system, of medicine, of metallurgy. They went to Arabia. And in Arabistan, the decimal system, which is, it's known as Hindu numerals, because it came from here, right? And those same Arabs also started ruling over Spain, Italy, and large part of Europe. And they took this decimal system there. And that is where those Europeans started calling the same decimal system as an Arabic numeral. Because the messenger became the message. A Hindu numeral system became Arabic numeral system because the Arabic people took it to Europe. And that's why those people were also as defeated people like us. We were defeated 1,000 years back. They were also defeated people. But we were trying to manage our hierarchy. We were trying to say which caste remains up and which caste remains down for last 1,000 years. Europeans came out of that. It's not that they did not have caste. They also have their own sort of segregations and stuff like that. But they were defeated society. They learned every new technology that came their way. And then they started building large ships. The large ships started going all over. One of them, who was supposed to be an Italian, went to the Spanish king with a proposal of funding his venture. Now we know it as venture capital. And the Spanish king said, no, I do not have the money. At least I have the money, but I don't want to give you because the venture doesn't look feasible. So smartly, that person went to the Spanish king's mother and asked her, saying, it's such a little amount of money, and if you allow me, I will take 3 ships, and if the world is round the way it is being said now, because of the Indian technology that has reached Europe, now the world is round, and if I continue to go on the west, someday I reach east, that is India. And so that guy started sailing with those 3 ships, and instead of reaching India, he reached somewhere else, and first land he saw, he called it India. That's now what you know as West Indies, right? And that is how the America was sort of discovered by Christopher Columbus. And that was the first venture capital. That was because you keep on hearing about venture capital, private equity and all. So that was how it happened. But there was another group of those large seafaring vessels from Portugal. And in 1498, one of that group landed in near Cochin. The guy's name was Vasco da Gama, and he was actually brought in to India by an Indian only from the Cape of Good Hope. But effectively, if you see, India has been at the center of technological evolutions, revolutions, and also everyone wanted to come to India. Why? Because India was rich. Why India was rich is not because there were so many people. India was rich because it was also rich in adapting to new technology. It's just that we forgot about it. We forgot about everything, even our own technology. Those guys learned, they came here, and then this Portuguese came to Cochin, and then there was this Lord Zamorin, and then finally they reached Goa, and then of course Mumbai. So I come from Mumbai, you are in Goa, and all of us have a connect to that history, which ended up making us slaves, right? And we did not become slaves because we were great or we were very pious or we were very God-fearing. We became, or we were very sinful. We became slaves only because we got defeated. And only because we got defeated, why? Is because we did not use technology. So the technology is the essence of human life. And the societies which adapt to those technologies will continue to prosper. The societies which ignore those technologies, which do not adapt, will continue to go behind. And around 12th century, a new framework of accounting started. An Italian priest named Luca Pacioli, most of you are from commerce, I've been told 2,500 students pass out from the university or the colleges here. And Luca Pacioli, in a way, is considered the father of modern accounting systems. So first technology, the conceptual technology, is what I call the decimal system, Hindu numerals. The second technology in that series is what I call accounting. We used to have our own accounting system, which is what we call Parta system or a single entry bookkeeping system. And that guy wrote about double entry booking system, which we use now. And any company, any large enterprise needs to know what profit they have made or what losses they have made, what is there in their balance sheet and stuff like that. And that's why the commerce or accounting as a technology came about, the rules, regulations, all those things. But have you ever, probably you've been told this story about Luca Pacioli? That Italian priest, Luca Pacioli, wrote the bookkeeping system related treatise. Can you imagine why did an Italian priest write about that? Why didn't a Banya write about it? Why didn't a trader write about the double entry bookkeeping system? Why did a priest write about it? We are taught and we take it in that spirit that, okay, you would have written, I don't know why, like why Aryabhatta wrote about decimal system. We don't ask those questions because we are not taught to ask. But if you ask that question, you will figure out that in those days, the only people with surplus, which is true today also, but today many people have surpluses. Those days, only people with surplus were actually the monasteries, the temples. If you go to our temples like Padmanabha Swami temple, they have, it is said that they have untold riches. They have like kilos and kilos of gold. Similarly, the Italian monasteries also used to have gold and silver and a lot of money, and the traders, the kings, used to actually borrow from those people. And that's why interest had to be counted, and that's how the double entry bookkeeping system, which is less prone to mistakes compared to a single bookkeeping entry system, is what basically was important. So you had this decimal system, and then you had a double entry bookkeeping system, and then this ship started coming to India for trade. Of course, they didn't have much to trade except they had guns, so they will come to wherever the villages were, they will start throwing grenades and stuff, and then start looting, and they used to call trade. Later on, of course, they had to actually trade. But effectively, they used to start with pretty much very little money invested initially, and then ships became larger and larger. People had to put in more and more money and larger vessels, larger and larger number of people working in the vessels. And so in Europe, they started pooling their resources, because initial funding was by the kings, but later on they started getting together, pooling their resources, and a new framework of pooling of resources for doing larger activities, larger commercial activities came about, and that is now what is known as company. So that is how the companies came into existence, and people used to pool their resources, send a vessel to India or Indonesia or Malaysia and so on and so forth. And at the port, they used to keep a small little register of who is owning how much share in that particular ship. When it comes back, it started with 1,000 pounds. When it came back, it will come back with say 100,000 pounds worth goods, and so there will be a lot of profits, and who will share how much. So they would give a little bit of stake to the captain, otherwise captain would run away with the ship, right? And so they would give some stake to the captain. Now what is it known as? Employee stock option, right? But effectively, when I make up these stories, don't try to look them up in the history books. Sometimes they are there, but largely to give you a message. And so there used to be this register of people who are owning what shares in profit of that particular voyage, and that's how that register is now known as register of companies. If you have been taught what is register, what is issued capital, and so on and so forth, and that's how the register of capital kind of came to be known. And then Of course, the ship would come to India, do all the trade, then come back. It might take a year, or it might take 6 months to go back. And in the meantime, if somebody wants money, they go to their friends, their relatives. The money may not be available from the friends and relatives. Like today also, you go to your cousin, they might say, I don't have money. But if you say, no, I'm starting a venture capital finance company, like Honorable Minister said, under the policy of Goa government, then your people who are unknown to you also start giving you money. And so that is where people who had the share in the profit of a voyage that has to come back, they would go to somebody and say, I have this share in the profit, can you take it and give me some money now because I'm needing the money for my operation. And that's how the people started transferring their own share to some other people, and your name will get cut off and the other people's name will come in. And that's how the secondary market in those share of those companies started. And then a series of people started specializing, who will just move around on the seashore saying, I have this company shares or I have this voyage shares, would you want to buy? Or if you want to sell, I want to actually buy it from you. And that specialist people, they ended up moving around on the seashore. Of course, Europe is a very cold place. So during the cold times, they would go and sit in coffee houses. And then they became so rich that they created their own place and went to the king to get a license. In those days, the bribes used to be called gifts. So they ended up giving gifts to the kings and took license, saying nobody else can trade stocks or shares in that city other than this particular guild. That guild is called basically stock exchange. So the first stock exchange that was set up officially was in 1607 in Amsterdam. It is called Amsterdam Stock Exchange. It is no longer there, but the building is there. It is now part of the New York Stock Exchange Group. But effectively, that's how the decimal system came, double entry bookkeeping system came, and then the voyages, then the companies came, and the stock exchange came. And that basically allowed people to invest in each other's ventures where you don't know each other. You could buy share of a profit of a venture which nobody, you wouldn't even know who was running it. And that's how a new modern society evolved. Most new companies are also called corporations. Entire world's progress over last 400-500 years, including the impetus that came from the Industrial Revolution, actually was due to this conceptual sort of change, conceptual technology of creating a corporation. A corporation is not the same as the people who run it. It is not the same as people who own it. It is a legal fiction which society allows you to create. And that corporate then has to have its own accounts, and that's what we learn in terms of the commercial accounting. But effectively, most of the modern prosperity is largely due to corporates. They have been reason for great good. They have also been reason for great bad. East India Company was a corporate which ended up subjugating India. But largely speaking, they have been reason for great good. And similar things happened in India. India was subjugated. In 1820s, people used to trade securities or bonds or hundis of banks in 1820s in Calcutta. Calcutta used to be in British India's capital, not Delhi. And they used to trade there. Then new companies started coming up in 1830s, 1840s, in Mumbai also. And then in 1860, immediately after 1857, where India's first sort of movement for independence came. Before that, in 1853, the railway track between Mumbai and Thane was set up. If you put it in that history, otherwise we not remember it happened, but it happened under a context. And so 1853, the first track was set up in Mumbai. In 1857, first movement for India's independence started. In 1860, America actually had a similar movement called Civil War, where they fought for the rights of the slaves. And America started actually fighting amongst each other. And a lot of cotton that used to grow in America stopped going to UK, to their Manchester mills, and India became a major supplier. It used to be a major supplier, but even more supplier of cotton. Prices went up almost 10-20 times in few months of cotton. Everyone ended up sending the cotton which was growing, but also take out from their mattresses and all, started sending to UK. And a lot of gold from UK came to India. But those people who were trading became very rich. They were speculating, like many of you might be speculating in stocks or in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. They started speculating in cotton. A lot of people became rich, and they realized that if we have the cotton and if we can set up textile mills, then we will be able to make more money. And that's how, although the Civil War got over, I think 1864, but the Indians got that idea, the markets collapsed, a lot of people became bankrupt, but many Indians started importing those machineries and they set up textile mills in Mumbai, then in Ahmedabad, then in Nagpur, Kanpur and few other places. India became what I call industrialized. But the story of BSE is that in 1875, some of the same cotton traders who also became bankers, who also became industrialists, they got together under a banyan tree where they used to trade cotton in a place called Harniman Circle, just opposite Asiatic Library. You see it in most of the advertisement, that Asiatic Library looks like a court building, white color court building. Surrounds, if you have seen Surrounds movie, my age people would remember, the hospital is actually Asiatic Library. But they got together under a banyan tree and started Native Share and Stockbroker Association as opposed to Britishers. 1875 is 10 years longer than the setting up of Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was set up in 1885. The Native Share and Stockbroker Association, which is now known as BSE, was set up in 1875, and it started with few brokers putting 1 rupee each to take that license to become a broker. And since then, today, literally millions, I have 10 crore 60 lakh investor accounts today. Around 6.5 crore individual PAN numbers. All those people, all those Indians who have invested in other people's businesses. People who are sitting in Srinagar or in Arunachal Pradesh are investing in company in Coimbatore. They are never going to visit. They will probably never know who the promoter is. But still, they have confidence that if that company makes profit, they will have that share in that profit to the proportion they have collected. And that is what this system of stock market in India, stock exchange in India over last 147 years has been able to create. And for me, today, market capitalization, the wealth that it represents, is around $3.6 trillion. India's total wealth is around $10 trillion. So every 1 rupee out of every 3 rupees Indian considered as wealth is coming now out of Bombay Stock Exchange. And that is a humongous difference. No other country in the world with $2,000 per capita income, which is pretty much the poorest of poor countries, has this kind of market mechanism where unknown people are investing into the businesses of unknown people, assuming that whenever that company makes profit, that company or that promoter or those managers will actually show that profit, and that share of the profit will be available to that. It's a humongous leap of faith. What we manufacture is trust. That trust, the societies which trust each other are the richest societies. The societies which do not trust each other are the societies which cannot become rich. And for me, that's why the commerce graduates have a great role to play in maintaining that trust, creating that accounting system which is actually worth looking at. It is not faked. It is not forged data. It is not make-believe data, but it is the real data. It follows principles. And that's why this technology of account keeping and so on and so forth is very important. Finance has many parts. Account keeping is the base part which you all get taught. But you also get taught the company secretarial work, you get taught stock market work, but very little. Today, large portion of the world is into trading. BS Institute provides training with the BCom. So we run BCom in financial markets, we run modeling courses, we run MSc in financial modeling and so on and so forth, which give you jobs, or you can also become stockbrokers. We also run stockbroker certification courses. We also have a mutual fund certificate course, and BSE has a BSE Star Mutual Fund platform, where once you become a certified mutual fund distributor, you can start distributing using BSE's platform called BSE Star Mutual Funds, where once you sell a mutual fund, you'll start getting commission. Similarly, BSE also has a insurance distribution company called BSE IBIX Insurance Distribution, where once you become a member there and pass that exam, you'll be able to distribute insurance, whether it is general, life, health, of literally 20-30 companies. You don't have to go and become agents of 30 companies. So effectively, we have 15 lakh people in Goa, and probably just to service Goans itself will require 15 to 20,000 people in financial intermediation. But more importantly, my request to the Honorable Minister also would be to create BPOs and IT-enabled services here, which will use the skills which are available here for servicing not only India but also the countries abroad, where large portion of the world today was run by India. When COVID happened, the world closed down. India also closed down for 70 days. And most of the people used to think, especially abroad, that now what will India do? Because almost all banks, all insurance companies, all large retail companies, all shipping companies, every company in the world which is large have their back office in India. If India closes down for 70 days, what will happen? The world will close down. Instead, India, although closed down, all of the Indians who used to work for those companies, for the companies which used to provide services to those banks, or retail companies, or other financial companies, or stock markets, even abroad, those guys kept on working from their home. We adapted very fast, and that's where we became basically more important to the world. It was easy to fail people. It was easy to fail ourselves also. We didn't stop BSE for a single second. As soon as Honorable Prime Minister's speech got over on March 23, 2020, within 1 minute I wrote that BSE will work normal as usual tomorrow. And I got so many queries on Twitter saying you are going to kill all of us, all the investors, because markets will fall, or the COVID will also kill us. And we said no, when the liquid is required, when you require the money, your assets, if you cannot liquidate, if you cannot sell, then what is the point of having markets? Markets fell by 40%, but then people actually figured out that Indian markets work and they went up. But more importantly, India did not run itself well, but India also ran the world well. And of course, India provided medicines and now vaccine to the rest of the world. In a way, India has adapted to the technology game very well over last 20-30 years, and especially last 10 years. In 1,000 years, we were not in the stadium when technology race was being run. We were outside stadium. We were not even in the spectators list. Today, after 1,000 years, first time in 2022, we are at the forefront of the technology game. And if you are not an engineer, it's fine. You have to learn how to use those technologies, how to become a BPO worker, how to use those tools to create derivatives pricing, and so on and so forth. And that is what a BSc Institute will teach you. That is what the professors here will teach you. But more importantly for me, next 50 years, the world is going to create huge wealth. More wealth using those technologies than the newer technologies that are coming, than what has been made in the last 10,000 years. And today, India is at the forefront of that technology game. And India is going to make almost 25% of that new wealth that is going to come. India will reach from $10 trillion to $100 trillion in the next 50 years. Many of us sitting here will not be there, but most of you will be there. And that wealth you will enjoy, provided you work hard, you adapt to those technologies and actually become useful to not only India, but to the rest of the world. And I congratulate your college and also your government for inviting us here. Whatever we can do as BSc and BSc Institute, we are going to do it for you. But more importantly, it is your vision, your enthusiasm your ability to take advantage of that technology and technology waves that are coming, that the wealth is not going to pass us by. And I hope that our young generation today, when they become old, India would be a rich country and not a poor country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for a brief account of financial history, lessons to be learned from it, the present scenario, and the way forward. Moving ahead, I call upon the founder member and director of Park, Shri Kiran Shelar, to pass concluding remarks. Okay. Yes, before we move ahead with the concluding remarks, any questions for our today's chief guest? Audience would like to ask any questions to our today's chief guest. Sir?